Children are spending their entire childhoods not with their families, not in their neighborhoods, but in institutional settings, group care with people other than their families. The early childhood profession has set up child care programs that are modeled after schools. That fills me with tremendous concern. I don't think very young children need to be in schools.
What children really need are open-ended materials. What they really need are opportunities to problem solve, to invent, to work with other children and have conflict and resolve it together. They don't need pre-planned activities, commercialized toys that have an answer already for you, a way to already play. Somebody else invented it.
Around the country, we're finding teachers really examining how early childhood programs should be designed and conducted so that the children, not a body of regulations and rules, are at the center of their thinking.
Do you spend most of your day filling out paperwork and thinking about what's going to be for lunch and cleaning up the mess and figuring out what's going to be on the curriculum plan? Or are you paying close attention to children and delighting in what they do when they cover their fingers with paint, or they tear up pieces of paper and put them into little plastic bags and carry them all over the room?
Teachers are beginning to think about early childhood environments as providing for children in ways that aren't school, that are providing for active moving bodies, that are providing for children who come as members of families, who come as members of culture and communities. And the environment that they spend their days in now reflects that. It reflects their lives.
I believe that children like vibrant colors. They like loud colors. They like soft elements. They like hard, rough elements. They like feathers. They like sticks and stones. One of my favorites is to have things in baskets so that when they pick something up, they feel good about holding it and being able to carry, being able to manipulate it as well. When I do home visits, I look at the different cultures that a family may come from or may have possess in their home, and I simply say, this is what I want in the classroom. I want it to reflect all of us, including myself.
The other thing I noticed is the way that children play with the rocks and the sticks and incorporate them into their play. Because children don't get to be outside much in childcare programs, or they're in little, fenced-off concrete playgrounds, and so they don't have access to those kinds of natural materials that I think are so important for them.
Like, okay, my room is all decorated. And I say, what's next? So when I see the kids so engaged in it, then I keep adding on it, and all my job was to just sit back and let them sustain their play for as long as they like. And I make sure that there's enough of everything. So I've learned how to extend my playtime. In fact, sometimes instead of an hour and 15 minutes, it could run for 2 hours.
We need to be careful with this in our eyes because it's very fine. And when you blow it, it gets to your eyes. You can blow it that way.
Watching the kids and listening to them, I mean, it feels more and more disrespectful to interrupt what they're doing. I mean, there's times, like, I don't know even today when we're going to have cleanup, because how are we going to say, just because what the clock says we have to stop, or because my comfort level is troubled, we have to stop? I mean, it's so rich. How rude.
Oh, Samantha's hungry. Let's see. How can I help you, Samantha, if you're hungry? Help yourself. Good job.
Snack time in our classroom can be any time of the day. Everybody's not hungry at the same time. Kids Kids want, they know what their needs are. They may not be hungry. They may want to continue to build, to play, to work, to do whatever they're doing. Some kids are hungry more so than others. So
I like the way you have your snack, and I'm gonna try that with my age group because true, some kids don't eat breakfast, and they have the tendency, being in the youngest group, they have the tendency to be grumpy for no reason at all.
Yeah.
Well, if I would just have a basket there, you can help yourself.
Here it goes! That is a ride where we need to wear tape. Right?
I want to think about, we've changed how this looks. Is it still safe for jumping?
Yeah?
Where are you going to land with your feet?
I got hit 2 times.
On the top?
I
Is
got
that your
hit
idea?
2 times.
Please don't jump yet. There's
I
lots
got
of people
hit
here.
2 times.
in my room, I currently have a loft with a ladder without handrails or some form of safety mechanism most people would think they would want on the loft. And it was purposely done that way.
You're so good at building risk into the classroom. They need it so much.
Yes, they do. And again, I believe that children should be able to feel comfortable in taking risks.
Yeah.
They should be comfortable and knowing that I support them in doing that, but at the same time that I have a safe environment for them to do that.
Yeah. You eliminate anything that would be a serious risk,
Yes.
but offer lots of opportunities for them to feel like.
Yes.
I had one child who never took the risk, and one day he decided to. And it was just the event of the day for the whole class. And then it became the event of the day for the whole school and for the child as well.
Can you paint through the hole?
But you want to make sure to leave space for your eyes to look through. I like the way you're carefully holding with 2 fingers. I see you pinching with those 2 fingers so the mask stays still while you're looking at your left.
See guys, look what I'm doing. I'm painting and I'm holding.
Thanks for showing your friends.
Look, I'm color.
And I think people have such a misunderstanding of the notion that either you teach them or they're playing versus how do you build from what they're playing or what they're interested in.
Noticing anything?
Yeah.
What are you learning as you mix those colors? Are you noticing anything?
Yeah. I'm noticing that my mask is changing color
Yeah?
from white to color.
From white to colors.
Oh yeah!
And in Sarah's classroom, in their block area, they've added these big, long gutters for the children to incorporate into the block play. Now, Ann and Sarah take a lot of time to stop and watch and pay attention to the children in their play, and not just rush in and stop it because of a safety factor. Instead, they watch carefully. They talk to each other about what the significance is. They talk to each other about, is this safe? Should we stop it?
Higher than their heads and it's tippy and they could get bonked.
This one is not chippy.
No, you're making it stronger. I see that.
So in the process, children are pursuing their own interests. They're learning incredible things about cooperation, as well as things about physics and balance and architecture.
Whoa, I agree.
I need to clean up.
Do you remember what we wrote up here? Everybody has hair. Some people have long hair or short. Some people have bald hair. It doesn't matter what kind of hair you have because everybody's hair is different.
Look at it.
Remember you brought your mom in to show us that your hair is kind of like your mom's? But how is your hair different from your mom's? Because your mom has gray in her hair. Why does she have gray in her hair and you don't? She's a little bit older than you, and sometimes when you get older, your hair changes color.
Maybe when Laura gets old, she'll have white hair.
She just might.
It was sad when the gray chip went down.
Visited an art studio and saw a lot of sculptures that were made out of chicken wire and paper mache that were very intriguing and interesting. Then the other route that pushed us towards that medium becoming a boat was a lot of interest in the Titanic. Started from a song that a kid brought from home about the Titanic that became very popular.
It was sad when the great ship went down. Will you sing this part? It was sad, it was sad, it was sad, it was sad, it was sad when the great ship went down to the bottom of the...
First step towards the boat was creating individual-sized boats to do some playing around with the idea of what does a boat look like, what should it have. After all kids had had a chance to do the building and the sketching, I invited a small group in to create this. And then when they did this, they were really not talking with each other. Well, we need a smokestack, we need an anchor, we need sails, we need all these different things, a lookout. Just one kid had a lookout, but it ended up being on our big boat. That would work. Okay, here's one. And you think wire it onto here first or paper mache it onto here first?
Wire it.
Wire it. You check out the plan, tell me how many of these we need.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That would be so boring and unsatisfying to have some plan that I'd written up at the beginning of the month that I had to be following day by day. Kids, today we're doing X, today we're doing Y, and I feel like I'd be fighting the kids the whole time because that's my agenda, not theirs, or someone's agenda, not theirs. And this is what can happen when we sort of create an agenda together. It's a lot more rewarding.
So you want to do this part right here? You want to do this and I hold this? This is the kid who resists cleanup, but with this is really having a great time helping out with cleanup. This one right here.
Cleaning up is part of the curriculum as it's part of their play. We set it up and then when we put it away, it's part of the play before we move along.
First he used the hammer, the axe, and then he measured that one. He opened the door with this, so because it was too hot. That's what Ben did. You want to listen to what he did?
When children are playing, I always describe what they do. And I could say it loud for the other kids to take notice too. And that an acknowledgement could also promote self-esteem. With that, it reinforces more of the language skills and words, the learning some new vocabulary.
Parents want to know, well, what did you learn in school today, or how was school? So the child is able to verbally talk about their day, and also I provide the written documentation. I've gotten this great idea from some other teachers about having an ongoing daily portfolio with the written documentation, a journal, and also taking lots of pictures is great documentation.
Mom, where's you? Tape it on. Yeah. Wait. Daddy's very fancy today. I guess he's ready for a super party.
Who is it that is in our programs every day? Who are the children? Who are the families? And how can we create a climate and a program that reflects those people?
If you'd like to have some food, this would be a good time to do that. And then as you're finishing food, we have games to play that kids have made for tonight. The kids are learning a out and they're right there with their families doing it. I also love the cross-fertilization of kids getting to know other kids' families and vice versa. And families are so into it and so respectful of their kids and just loving anything that their kids offer them. And the kids are so delighted to have their families here, and they're playing and they're showing them all the stuff they've been doing and incredible food. I think as our school has grown and changed, there's been an increasing sense from parents of this being a fun place to hang out and an important place to be, and they need to hang out, and they want to talk. And I felt a loosening up for myself around what it is to be a teacher, and that it can mean doing a lot of fun things after hours.
I look at the whole child, the whole family, and that's what I love about home visits. I can go in and ask questions, and usually they love to answer them because it's a feeling of this teacher cares enough about my kid and us to come in and talk about us and not just about what she's going to do for the entire school year. When I first met the kids in my classroom, I found that there were several children who do not want to get dirty or play with dirt at all. I decided that I would bring in some potting soil, some fresh potting soil, and it was very moist at the time. And they were all so curious, these 5. They were the first ones to go to the potting soil. And then they would start having some conflicts during this play. So dirt would be everywhere, and I would just walk away the first few times and let them problem solve themselves. Did you ask him or tell him to listen?
Yeah, 100 times.
Okay, well, how can I help you get Navarre to listen?
I listened. No, he was still right here.
What would you like to do? What do you want to do? Okay, well, you need to tell Navarre that. And if there's certain things you want to happen here, you need to say, I want to play nicely, I want to share. You need to tell Navarre what you want. Okay? And find out what Navarre wants to do, too.
Navarre, what do you want to do? I want to work with this.
How do we think about who these children are when they walk through the door?
My style is I honor its natural spirit of each kid. And they don't have to be polite for me, you know. They come in kind of like outpouring with what they're feeling. So I start that early in the morning as they come in. It's just like food for their soul, that they're being heard and they're being noticed in how they're feeling.
We have to clean up, we have to fill out paperwork, we have to do all those things. That it's very easy to be going through motions and just responding, putting out fires. But the joy of this work is to be intellectually engaged, to be spiritually engaged, to be creatively engaged with what's happening with these children.
Again, lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo, the days of the week. Ready?
That's quite a hat, Ian.
Look at my hat. Look at my hat, too. Look at my hat. Oh, look at my hat. Look at my hat.
I'm going to get them started for it. This whole process has been very tangible for me, of the back and forth that happens, that I can toss a piece out and then kids do something to it and toss it back to me, and I can do something to it and toss it back, and very much a give and take. Okay, go to it, guys. I'll hold it. You do.
I thought I had this sound curriculum, and I had it typed, and it was on the desk or posted, Kids didn't want to do that. So I had to think about, this isn't working. What will work for them? You feel your work is easier when you do that. And so much more happens during the course of the day. I love what I do, and I feel that I'll be doing this job for a long time.
Here's this tube, plastic tube.
Sink.
Sink?
Float.
Float. Some kids say sink, some kids say
Float.
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 Sink or
Float. Float. Float.
floating. What if I fill it up with water?
Find out. Oh, of course. When did you hear about some of them in that drawer?
When I go home, I'm exhausted, but then I go visit my garden. And in that garden reflects the children. This kid, this flower is not doing anything, it's sitting. What does it need? And then I reflect on the child. So I'm bringing my garden as the metaphor of my work with children as into gardening.
We need to be thinking about what do children need and how do we really want their childhoods to be framed? Do we want it to be rigid, regimented, out of the context of real life in a traditional kind of school setting? Or do we want children to have rich involvement with grown-ups, other children, people from their community, active experiences where they really get to problem solve, where they really get to explore and create?
When early childhood programs for children really have the natural world in them, really have adults who are building real relationships with them, have really meaningful things for young children to do, not only the children thrive, but the adults in those programs thrive as well.